I would like to go to the subject matter at hand today, particularly the resolution, and like to make a statement because it relates to foreign policy, and to make a statement about the foreign policy of the Samagi Jana Bala Vegaya, the SJB. Now we are basically a small island state in the Indian Ocean. We are covered by very big powers in Asia as well as global superpowers. Therefore, our foreign policy is in that sense our defense. And it's very important that we get our foreign policy correct. Our economy is dependent on the global markets. Because to raise the standard of living of Sri Lankans, we have to sell our products, our services into global markets. That's the only way we can raise our living standards, because our markets are too small for us to raise our living standards. But we strongly defend our independence. We have to be an independent country. And therefore, our foreign policy is absolutely critical. When I think back, even as a student, Madam Sirimavu Bandarunayaka elucidated Sri Lanka's foreign policy as a non-aligned foreign policy, and basically became a part, and she became a leader of the non-aligned movement. In today's language, non-alignment really is out of fashion. It doesn't, in that sense, as a concept, doesn't really exist. However, we have to be, as a country, as we look at our interest, Sri Lanka's interest, Sri Lankans' defense, Sri Lankans' independence, Sri Lankans' living standards, we have to engage with the world not as non-aligned, but I would put it as a multi-alignment country. That is protecting our independence. Sri Lanka should never provide military bases for any foreign military power, nor enter into treaty-based military alliances. I think it doesn't matter which government is in power, we need to be realistic about what our position is, and therefore military alliances and treaties based on military alliances are an absolute no-no. But that should not prevent Sri Lanka from practicing a multi-aligned foreign policy in line with our national interest of promoting economic and social development and democracy. And joint military exercises, especially naval exercises, with all friendly and interoperable nations in the region and beyond must be welcome, since it enhances the capacities of our own security forces, especially the Navy, the ability to safeguard Sri Lanka's security both in land and at sea. In addition, Sri Lanka must work with the UN closely to enhance our contribution to the UN peacekeeping operations for the benefit of our own security forces and to enhance the profile of Sri Lanka internationally. At the moment, Sri Lanka's share of UN peacekeepers is far below our regional peers and is even declined even after the defeat of the Yahapalana government after the constitutional coup. We focused on this during that period, increased our participation in UN peacekeeping forces, and that has declined since then. Unless Sri Lanka seriously addresses reconciliation issues and accountability in terms of human rights, it's highly unlikely this situation will change. In fact, even to promote major investments, accountability and transparency is a key prerequisite. Sri Lanka must return to the ongoing forums of vibrant democracies of the world, which are in fact thriving economies with a view to benefiting from resultant social and economic links that will enable raising the standards and well-being of all Sri Lankans. As an island nation at the center of the Orient, Sri Lanka must be close to major powers for mutual benefit, but relations which each cannot be zero-sum in relation to another. US is our major market, just like the EU, and therefore relations with those countries and the UK must be further nurtured, taking into account common values and interests like democracy, respect for human rights and rule of law. And we have to examine as to why the US and EU major corporations have no major investments in Sri Lanka. Relations with China as one of the most important commercial partners must be deepened with a view,
you have 2 minutes.
With a view to creating more balanced bilateral trade. India is the closest partner nation in all aspects, especially the economy and security, and maintaining steady and deep relationships with India is a sine-qua-non for Sri Lanka's progress in all aspects. We must work with China, India and all key nations that use the Indian Ocean to ensure strategic harmony in the Indian Ocean region for promoting security and stability, much needed to ensure sustained economic progress for all nations in the Indian Ocean.